Good morning. Welcome back to Tattered, the podcast. Today's topic is a little different. We're going to talk about survival. And the biggest thing I want people to take away is that survival is absolutely not weakness. This week we're celebrating the 250th 4th of July, the celebration of our country, and we've survived a lot. There wasn't always a time we knew we were going to be independent from Britain, and the survival of the army was at stake. And we managed to do it because Americans are survivors, and you're a survivor. And no matter what you're going through, I want you to survive. So this tattered fits police, veterans, this podcast, anyone carrying a service related weight. A lot of people in uniform were trained to endure. Police, military, corrections, fire, EMS. We're taught push through, get the job done, stay quiet, solve the problem, finish the shift, complete the mission. Don't become the problem, don't become part of it. But survival is not weakness. Survival is often the most disciplined thing that a person ever does. So as July 4th approaches, we talk a lot about freedom, sacrifice, and service. But there's another word we need to talk about that I would argue is equally important: survival. Some of the costs we talk about is visible. We miss holidays, we work long shifts, we work overtime, miss birthdays. I think in my career, I made one Halloween with my kids because we all worked Halloween. We work bad scenes in the police service. We work really bad accidents sometimes. In the military, God knows what you guys see and go through. And the quiet belief that, nobody really understands what you're carrying. It's funny to me when a police officer says, man, that was a good accident. That's not a good accident. It's a horrible accident. But that's the way that they carry that in their body, in their mind, and it keeps them going. And when all that stuff starts to add up, survival is courage. Staying here is courage. Calling somebody to say, hey, I need to talk. I need some help. That is completely courage. Sitting in your driveway and not making a permanent decision in a temporary problem is courage. Having the wherewithal and the fortitude to say, I'm not okay, may be the strongest thing a police officer or a veteran ever says. We need to stop mistaking silence for strength. Silence can be discipline, but silence can also be danger. It can be very dangerous. A quiet officer, a quiet soldier, they're not always squared away. A quiet veteran's not always at peace. Sometimes they're just tired of trying to explain the weight because it gets heavy. And sometimes we want to protect those we love from it. But you can't. You've got to share. You've got to talk to people. My book, Tattered, is not just about what happened to me. It's about what turned me from that solid, never thought about suicide, never had problems, had a great career, never had a complaint that was ever sustained. And it's about how that turned me into a guy in the yard drinking, trying to drown my problems, and considering suicide, planning my exit. That's what Tattered's about. Yeah, it tells the story of what happened, but the bigger message is the survival and what it took to figuratively slap me in the face and get my attention. And then it's also about the road back, because it's not just survival, because survival means there's going to be another tomorrow, and that tomorrow is going to be new, and that sun's going to rise, and you're going to see it, and the life that you have ahead of you is going to continue. It's about staying in life when it starts to look like leaving is an option. When I wrote Tattered, I had several beta readers. One of them was a retired colonel from the 82nd Airborne. And he read the book and he got in touch with me and he said, man, this is powerful. I really wish I would have had this, back in such and such a year when a pair of nods disappeared in Korea. Night vision devices. That's something that stressed a man who is one of the most finest men I know, to the point of stressing over his career because an item got lost. And I know they're expensive. I know it matters. But people are more important than any piece of equipment. If you're a police officer, if you're a veteran or someone who's carried the cost of service home with you, I want you to hear this message clearly. Survival is not weakness. Survival is part of your story. And the sun will rise tomorrow. That I promise you. We are the peacemakers. And we live in a land that's celebrating 250 glorious years. Not always perfect. But if you could find me a perfect country, I'd be happy to move there. None of them are perfect. But ours is pretty darn good. So let's enjoy this week. And thank you for your attention. And remember, we are the peacemakers.